In an era defined by relentless demands, pervasive distractions, and ever-accelerating change, finding true effectiveness and a deep sense of purpose can feel like an increasingly elusive quest. We often chase quick fixes, superficial tips, and temporary gains, hoping to achieve success or happiness, only to find ourselves feeling overwhelmed, unfulfilled, or running faster on a treadmill to nowhere. What if true effectiveness isn't about mastering new techniques or adopting the latest productivity hack, but about fundamentally shifting how we see ourselves, others, and the world around us? Today, we're diving deep into a landmark work that has transformed millions of lives and shaped organizations worldwide. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by the visionary Stephen R. Covey. Published over 3 decades ago, this book remains profoundly relevant, not because it offers fleeting trends, but because it introduces timeless, universal principles that govern human effectiveness. Covey challenges us to move beyond what he calls the personality ethic, which focuses on image, superficial traits, and quick fixes, and embrace a deeper character ethic, built on enduring qualities like integrity, humility, fidelity, courage, and justice. Habit 1. Be proactive. The principle of personal vision. The first and arguably most foundational habit, be proactive, represents the core principle of personal vision and profound responsibility. Covey argues that proactivity is far more than simply taking initiative or being a go-getter. It's about understanding that our lives are fundamentally a product of our conscious choices, not merely a reaction to our external conditions or circumstances. Unlike reactive people, whose moods and behaviors are largely driven by feelings, external circumstances, the weather, the moods of others, or prevailing economic conditions, proactive people are driven by consciously chosen values and principles. They recognize and utilize the fundamental human freedom to choose their response to any given stimulus. This crucial freedom, this space between stimulus and response, is where our greatest power lies. The power to choose our response based on our values, our conscience, and our personal mission, rather than being dictated by impulses or conditioning. Covey introduces the powerful concepts of the circle of concern and the circle of influence. Reactive individuals tend to focus their energy, thoughts, and language predominantly on their circle of concern. Things they have little or no control over, e.g., politics, others' opinions, past mistakes, company policies. This external focus inevitably leads to feelings of victimhood, blame, helplessness, and a constant sense of frustration. Proactive individuals conversely wisely choose to focus their energy and efforts on their circle of influence. Those aspects of their lives where they can directly make a difference, e.g., their attitude, their effort, their communication skills, their personal choices. By consistently working within and expanding their circle of influence through positive action and choice, proactive people gradually enlarge the scope of what they can impact. Proactive language, e.g., I choose, I can, I will, let's find a solution, reflects this deep sense of ownership and empowerment, while reactive language, e.g., I can't, if only, they made me, it's not fair, abdicates responsibility and reinforces a sense of helplessness. This habit fundamentally empowers individuals to take profound ownership of their lives, their emotions, and their destinies, making the critical leap from a dependent mindset to an independent one. It's about recognizing that you are the architect of your own character and the primary force shaping your experiences, rather than merely a passenger swept along by circumstances. Habit 2. Begin with the end in mind. The principle of personal leadership. Habit 2, begin with the end in mind, serves as the guiding principle of personal leadership. If Habit 1 establishes that you are the creator of your life by exercising choice, proactive, Then habit 2 dictates that you must decide where you are going and what you value most before you start building. It means starting every endeavor every day, and indeed your entire life, with a clear understanding of your ultimate destination, knowing precisely what you want to achieve, and what core principles you want to live by. Covey emphasizes the profound concept that everything is created twice. First, there is a mental creation, the blueprint, the idea, the vision, and only then follows the physical creation, the actual building or execution. If we don't consciously and intentionally engage in this first mental creation, we risk allowing external forces, other people's agendas, societal expectations, or past conditioning to write our script for us, leading us down paths that may not align with our deepest desires. We might be incredibly efficient at executing, as in habit 3, but we won't necessarily be truly effective if we're efficiently climbing a ladder that's leaning against the wrong wall. The most effective and profound way to begin with the end in mind is to develop a deeply personal and meaningful personal mission statement or philosophy. This statement acts as your personal constitution, a timeless declaration that defines your character, articulates your most core values, and outlines your life's overarching goals and contributions. It serves as an unshakable standard against which everything else in your life can be measured and evaluated, providing unwavering direction, profound meaning, and an enduring sense of purpose, especially during challenging times. Covey suggests a powerful visualization exercise. Imagining your own funeral and deeply considering what you would truly want people to say about your life, your character, and your contributions. This exercise forces a profound clarity on your deepest values, aspirations, and desired legacy. By consciously committing to and regularly reviewing a personal mission, you clarify what genuinely matters most, ensuring that your actions consistently align with your principles and that your life's ladder is always leaning against the right, self-chosen wall. This habit is absolutely critical for achieving independence, as it provides profound self-direction, a clear sense of identity, and an internal compass that is separate from external expectations or fleeting trends. Habit 3. Put first things first. The principle of personal management. Habit 3, put first things first, is the crucial practical application of habits 1 and 2, embodying the principle of personal management and effective execution. If habit 1 established your role as the proactive creator, you are the force, and habit 2 guided you to create the right vision, create the right thing, then habit 3 empowers you to execute that creation effectively. It's about taking the priorities and values established in your personal mission statement, from habit 2, and your proactive choices, from habit 1, and then organizing and executing your daily life and activities in alignment with those priorities. This habit moves far beyond conventional time management, which often focuses solely on efficiency, doing things right, to effective personal management, which prioritizes effectiveness, doing the right things first. Covey introduces the highly influential time management matrix, a powerful tool for categorizing all activities based on 2 crucial criteria: urgency and importance. Quadrant I. Urgent and important. This quadrant encompasses crises, pressing problems, and deadline-driven projects. This is where reactive people, living a life of constant crisis management, spend the vast majority of their time, perpetually putting out fires. While some Q1 activities are unavoidable, a disproportionate focus here leads to stress, burnout, and a feeling of being constantly overwhelmed. Quadrant 2. Not urgent and important. This is the quadrant of quality and personal leadership. It includes activities like prevention, proactive planning, building and maintaining relationships, recognizing and nurturing new opportunities, learning, personal renewal, PC activities, and long-term goal setting. Highly effective people strategically prioritize and dedicate consistent time to this quadrant. These are the activities that, if neglected, eventually become quadrant I crises. Quadrant 3, urgent and not important. This quadrant is filled with interruptions, some meetings, many popular activities, and pressing matters that are important to others but not necessarily to you or your core priorities. These are often distractions disguised as priorities, giving a false sense of urgency. Quadrant 4, not urgent and not important. This is the quadrant of trivialities, busy work, time wasters, and escapist activities, offering little to no value. The core message of Habit 3 is to focus on Quadrant 2 activities. These are the important but not urgent tasks that, if neglected, can eventually escalate into Quadrant I crises. Spending consistent, proactive time in Quadrant 2 leads to significantly greater effectiveness, reduced stress levels, improved relationships, expanded opportunities, and a more balanced, controlled life. Putting first things first requires genuine willpower, the ability to make and keep promises to oneself, integrity, acting in accordance with your deepest values even when it's difficult, and a strong personal constitution, your mission statement from Habit 2, to guide your choices. This habit is the ultimate expression of independent will, where you manage yourself based on your chosen values and priorities, rather than merely reacting to external pressures or the tyranny of the urgent. Complete Anther Hobbits. Fischer le raisonnement. You got it. Let's complete the deep dive into Stephen R. Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, continuing with the same extensive detail for the remaining habits for your Booksa channel. Habit 4. Think win-win. The principle of interpersonal leadership. Habit 4, Think win-win, marks the crucial transition from private victory, Habits 1 to 3, focusing on self-mastery and independence, to public victory, Habits 4 to 6, focusing on effective interdependence. It is the foundational principle of interpersonal leadership and effective human interaction within a relationship. Covey asserts that win-win is not merely a technique. It is a fundamental character orientation that seeks mutual benefit in all interactions. It's a frame of mind and heart that constantly seeks advantages for all parties involved, built on the belief that a third alternative, a better way, can always be found. Covey identifies 6 distinct paradigms of human interaction, each with its own underlying philosophy. Win/win. A mindset that believes solutions can be found where everyone benefits and feels good about the decision. It's about cooperation, not competition, and finding solutions that are mutually beneficial and satisfying. This is the only paradigm truly conducive to long-term interdependent relationships. Win/lose. A competitive approach where one person wins at the expense of the other. This is common in dictatorial leadership, sports, or situations where resources are perceived as scarce. While it might lead to short-term gains for one party, it breeds resentment and damages long-term relationships. Lose/win. The opposite of win/lose, where one person capitulates or sacrifices their own desires to please or appease another. This often stems from low self-esteem or a need for acceptance. While it might seem to create peace in the short term, it builds resentment in the lose/win person and can lead to exploitation. Lose/lose occurs when 2 win/lose individuals interact, or when a person becomes so focused on getting the other to lose that they don't care if they lose themselves. It's often the result of highly conflictual, vengeance-driven interactions where everyone ends up worse off. Win. People who only think win primarily focus on getting what they want, regardless of the other party. They don't necessarily want the other to lose, but they are entirely self-centered in their approach, and fairness is secondary to their own desires. Win/win or no deal. This is the highest form of win/win, where if a truly synergistic, mutually beneficial solution cannot be found, the parties agree to disagree respectfully and not proceed with a transaction or relationship. This option is vital in professional settings to prevent bad deals and maintain integrity, while also safeguarding relationships. The win/win paradigm is rooted in the abundance mentality, which posits that there is plenty for everyone, that success is not a finite resource to be hoarded but a vast potential to be explored and shared. This contrasts sharply with the scarcity mentality, which sees life as a zero-sum game, believing that if someone else wins, you must lose. The abundance mentality fosters sharing, recognition, and collaboration. Covey also outlines 5 dimensions of win/win: character, integrity, maturity, abundance mentality, relationships, built on trust, agreements, defining expectations and boundaries, systems, rewarding win/win behavior, and processes, the steps taken to achieve win/win solutions. Without a strong character, mutual trust, and supportive systems, win/win remains an aspiration rather than a sustainable reality. This habit encourages us to seek creative solutions that honor the needs and desires of all involved, creating powerful, synergistic outcomes for interdependence. Habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. The principle of empathic communication. Habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood, is the cornerstone of effective empathic communication and arguably the most crucial habit for public victory. Covey asserts that the deepest human need is the need to be understood. To feel that someone genuinely listens, validates, and cares about our perspective. We often fail to meet this need in others because we listen not with the intent to understand, but with the intent to reply. This often leads to conversations where 2 people are merely waiting for their turn to speak, rather than truly connecting. Covey calls this common listening style autobiographical listening. We filter what others say through our own experiences, paradigms, and preconceived notions. We then respond in one of 4 autobiographical ways: evaluating, agreeing or disagreeing, probing, asking questions from our own frame of reference, advising, giving counsel based on our own experience, interpreting, explaining people's motives and behavior based on our own motives and behavior. While these responses might seem helpful, they often invalidate the other person's feelings and prevent us from truly grasping their unique situation and perspective. The power of empathic listening, conversely, lies in listening with the sole intent to understand. This means getting inside another person's frame of reference, seeing the world as they see it, feeling as they feel, and understanding their paradigms. It requires courage, patience, and a genuine desire to connect. By reflecting back not just the words but also the feelings and meaning, you create a safe space for the other person to open up and articulate their thoughts more fully. Only after genuinely understanding the seek first to understand part, do you gain the credibility and trust, the then to be understood part, to offer your perspective or advice effectively. This builds on the foundation of character, habit 1, and win/win, habit 4, by showing genuine respect and fostering deep trust. Covey emphasizes the Greek philosophy of persuasion: ethos, character, credibility; pathos, empathy, emotional connection; and logos, logic, reason. He argues that ethos and pathos must come before logos for true influence. By seeking first to understand, we build our ethos and pathos, creating the conditions for our logos to be heard and accepted. This habit is transformative in both personal and professional relationships, enabling deep connection and the resolution of complex issues by addressing root causes rather than just symptoms. Habit 6. Synergize. The principle of creative cooperation. Habit 6, synergize, is the crowning achievement of the public victory habits, representing the principle of creative cooperation. Synergy means that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. 1 + 1 is equal to 3 or more. It's the highest activity in all life, the true test and manifestation of all other habits working in concert. When people genuinely internalize habits 4, think win-win, and 5, seek first to understand, they create an environment where synergy can flourish. It's not just about compromise, where 1 + 1 is equal to 1.5, but about transcending existing options to find a third alternative that is superior to what anyone initially proposed. Synergy is about valuing differences. Covey argues that differences, when respected and understood, habit 5, become strengths. Instead of being threatened by different perspectives, highly effective people see them as opportunities to learn, grow, and create something entirely new and better. It requires a high degree of psychological safety, mutual trust, and open-mindedness. When individuals come together with diverse viewpoints, prepared to genuinely understand each other and commit to a win-win solution, they can tap into a collective intelligence that far surpasses the sum of individual intelligences. The process often involves suspending one's own agenda temporarily, exploring others' ideas, and then collaboratively brainstorming entirely new solutions that incorporate the best elements of all perspectives. Synergy manifests in various ways. Finding better solutions to problems, fostering innovative ideas, improving communication, and building stronger, more collaborative teams. It thrives in environments where people are secure in their own identity, habits 1 to 3, and are able to genuinely listen to and value others, habits 4 and 5. Conversely, negative synergy occurs when people are defensive, competitive, or disrespectful of differences, leading to outcomes that are worse than if individuals had worked alone, e.g., 1 + 1 is equal to 0 or less. This habit is about unleashing creativity and leveraging human diversity to solve complex problems and achieve breakthroughs that would be impossible through individual effort or mere compromise. It's the pinnacle of interdependence, where collective genius is unleashed for common benefit. Habit 7. Sharpen the saw. The principle of self-renewal. The 7th habit, sharpen the saw, is the habit of self-renewal and continuous improvement. It encompasses all the other habits and makes them possible. Covey illustrates this with the story of a man trying to saw down a tree, but making little progress because his saw is dull. When advised to stop and sharpen the saw, he insists he's too busy sawing. Habit 7 reminds us that we must take time to renew ourselves regularly in 4 fundamental dimensions of our lives: physical, mental, spiritual, and social/emotional. This is the application of the P/PC balance, production/production capability, to oneself. It's about investing in our personal PC, so we can continue to produce P effectively in all other areas of life. Physical dimension. Renewing the physical body through healthy eating, regular exercise, adequate rest, and stress management. This dimension provides energy, strength, and resilience. Neglecting it leads to fatigue, illness, and reduced productivity. Mental dimension. Renewing the mind through learning, reading, writing, planning, and visualizing. This keeps our minds sharp, open, and capable of handling complex challenges. It involves continuous education, whether formal or informal, and expanding one's understanding. Spiritual dimension. renewing our commitment to our values system, our personal mission statement, habit 2, and seeking meaning and purpose. This could involve meditation, prayer, spending time in nature, listening to inspiring music, or simply reflecting on what truly matters. Provides clarity, perspective, and an inner compass. Social/emotional dimension. Renewing our relationships with others by practicing the public victory habits. Think win-win, seek first to understand, synergize. This involves making deposits into emotional bank accounts, empathic listening, and contributing to the well-being of others. It addresses our need for connection, belonging, and contribution. Sharpening the saw is not an activity to be scheduled only when everything else is done. It is the vital activity that enables us to do everything else more effectively. Creates an upward spiral of continuous growth and improvement, allowing us to be more productive, creative, and resilient. By consistently investing in our own renewal, we enhance our capacity to practice all other habits, leading to ever-increasing effectiveness in all areas of our lives. It empowers us to live a life of balance, purpose, and sustained excellence, preventing burnout and ensuring a rich, meaningful existence.